Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Since the build of our front axle is completed, let's move on to the rear axle. If you have missed out that video, you can watch that video from the link shown above. Making of the front axle was pretty complicated because we need to incorporate both the drive mechanism as well as the steering mechanism into a single axle. But in the rear axle, things are quite simple. Here we need to attach only the drive mechanism to the axle. That we can do simply with the help of a single shaft. This 3 mm stainless steel rod will carry the power from the wheel gear all the way to the wheel disc, from where it is transferred to the wheels. So let's check out the parts for our rear axle build. So this is a transmission box, same as the front wheel transmission. This is the 3 mm steel rod which carry the power all the way up to the wheels. These are the wheel discs for mounting our wheels. And this is a 3 mm rod which we will use as the input shaft. This is one part of the universal joint which we are mounting at the input shaft for further transfer of the power. These are the three 10 mm bearings which we are going to use in this build. This is the bevel gear for the wheel shaft and this is the bevel gear for the input shaft. Both these gears will work in an angle perpendicular to each other to transfer the power. This is a 1 mm washer which we will use to adjust the alignment between these two gears. These are the two stabilizer arms for the rear axle, which is in fact not a part of this build, but still I have included because these stabilizers are going to be mounted along with these LHS and RHS extensions. So in order to avoid frequent screwing and unscrewing, I am going to mount these stabilizers along with the RHS and LHS extensions. So moving to the assembly, first of all let's lock the wheel gear onto the shaft. Here also we will use the same mechanism which we have used in the front axle. There is a slit cut on the shaft and there is a cut mark on the gear for locking. With the help of this 2 mm piece of rod, we will lock the gear onto the shaft. And further, this sleeve is friction fitted in order to secure the position of both the metal piece and the gear. Slide the gear onto the marking. Align the slit of the rod to that of the gear. Then place the small metal piece and press it firmly to lock into position. Now we can insert this 1 mm washer to adjust the alignment between the input gear and the wheel gear just by sanding the disc up to the appropriate width. Now place the wheel shaft onto position and then place the input shaft to mark the approximate location of the input bearing and the input gear. After marking, hammer the bearing into position. Since the bearing is in correct position, now let's hammer in the input gear onto its input shaft. So the input gear is also tapped in. Now let's check the alignment of the two gears. As you can see, the working or the movement of the gears are not so smooth. So we need to give some 2-3 taps more to insert the input gear a bit further. Now let's check the rotation again. Now it seems that the alignment between the two gears are perfect and the working of the gear is also smooth. Now I feel that the length of the input shaft is a bit excess. So I will cut down in order to reduce the angle of operation between the axle and the output shaft of the gearbox. Now let's tap in the universal joint at the back end of the input shaft. The gap between the transmission box and the universal joint is a bit excess. So let's have 2-3 taps more to reduce the gap. Now there is a perfect gap between the transmission box and the universal joint. If you feel that the rod is not perfect fit into the universal shaft, you can secure the position with the help of a 1mm nail inserted along this hole that will lock that position onto the shaft. Now let's lubricate the gears and the systems and secure the position of the assembly with the help of the upper case and some M2 screws. After screwing up, check the smooth operation of the gears, then proceed further by attaching the extension arms on the RHS and the LHS. There is a small change in the assembly process, that is, I need to replace the distribution box with a newer one because the old one was having some misprints and some weak areas. So being a vital part of this assembly, I decided to change it with a good one. So here goes the first extension of the rear axle. Now let's attach the extension for the other side also in the same way. Now it's time to tap in the bearings onto its housing. Continue the process for the other side also. As you can see, now both the sides the bearings are inserted perfectly onto the bearing housings. And now let's attach the second pair of extension arms on LHS and RHS. Continue the mounting on the other side also in the same fashion. Confirm the smooth operation of the assembly, and now our shafts are ready to receive the wheel mounting discs and further the wheels. So on both the ends the wheel mounting discs are attached with a 1mm clearance from the axle for smooth rotation. I have done some lubrication for the extension cylinders also for the smooth operation. Now it's working very smoothly and perfectly. Now the only part left with is to mount the wheels. I have done it with the help of some M2 screws. Now the wheels are also mounted at both the end discs, and you can see an effortless operation of both the wheels and the universal joint. So our assembly is working smooth and fine. So our rear wheel axle assembly is complete. Now these mounts are used to mount the shock absorbers, and these stabilizer arms are mounted onto the stabilizer mount attached on the chassis. So if you like my build, please like, subscribe and comment on my video. So thanks for watching. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.